RedWolf here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the EL-16HFE. We'll be taking a look at the magazine size, rate of fire, damage and how it drops off, cooling power, accuracy, and I'm going to suggest a few cards to run with this one. I'm going to assume you already know which class it belongs to, but if you don't, I'll link the trooper review for the class in the card that's coming up on your screen now. But before we get into all that, make sure to hit that like so I know if this is the type of video you enjoy. Also hit that subscribe and notification button. It really does help a lot and I would love your support. New videos will be out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central. So let's go ahead and get into the information. So the number of rounds you can fire for the EL-16HFE before overheating is 15 rounds. There is no cooling attachment on this one, so there's no way to improve that. However, I have found a good alternative that will cover once we get down into the card section. The EL-16HFE has the lowest number of rounds before it overheats in the assault class, meaning it's pretty unforgiving if you miss a few shots, since you'll be overheating much faster than the person you're engaged with. It gets even more unforgiving when you look at the rate of fire. The EL-16HFE has the slowest rate of fire among all assault class weapons, with an amazing 210 rounds per minute. While this is not the slowest rate of fire in the game, you definitely feel it when you're in a firefight, and it will definitely cost you some engagements if you miss, or aren't landing a few headshots here and there. Since there is no rapid fire style attachment with this weapon, the EL-16HFE is not for you if you're an aggressive player like myself, and are constantly running around like a crazy person. This weapon is best suited for those medium to long range players, and is honestly best in the hands of a specialist who got lost on the loadout screen. While the rate of fire may be slow, the weapon more than makes up for it in the damage it deals out per round. This is the highest damage per round weapon in the assault class arsenal, maxing out at 49 damage per round and then dropping off to 30 damage per round. If you're using the range attachment, the lowest I could get was 37 damage at long range, and when I was testing this, I ran out of the map and fired at myself really quickly, and I still could not get below 37. At close range landing all of your shots, the EL-16HFE has a potential of dealing 171 damage per second, and at long range 105 damage per second without the range attachment. If you're running the range attachment, it'll do 129 damage per second at long range. This will put it second for long range in terms of DPS numbers wise, but first if you take into account the accuracy and actually being able to hit your target. Since the CR2 still has a higher DPS potential at long range, but the accuracy on the CR2 will not allow you to land half of your shots on the target, while this weapon with a slower rate of fire can. The EL-16HFE also has the lowest drop off damage wise compared to the other blasters in its class, dealing 75% of the damage at long range that it does at close range, with the range attachment, and 61 without it. While the percent of drop off doesn't really mean much in terms of gameplay, it does mean the damage done is more consistent overall for those of you who just like having something that's a little consistent everywhere you're shooting. The grouping and accuracy for the EL-16HFE, for the rate of fire being so slow, is rather large when you don't aim down sights on this one. If you do aim, it becomes much better, but if you add the recoil reduction attachment, the recoil is basically non-existent. The green on the right is the recoil reduction, and the blue on the left is without it. I would definitely run the recoil reduction on this weapon along with the improved range. You do have the option for a dual zoom scope for your third attachment, but I'm not really a fan of the scopes outside of the DMRs for the specialist, and it just kind of looks funny when you fire this one. I don't know if it's just a personal thing, but you can see the blast come out and it's weird. I don't like it. Cooling on this weapon is identical to all other assault rifles, so the shortest cooling time is manual cooling at 1 second, regardless of how many shots you fire. If you do fire until you're forced to cool, it's not too bad since you hit the blue in 1.15 seconds and then the gold in 2.08 seconds. If you fully let it cool after overheating, it is a rather long 3 seconds, but don't worry, it takes the heavies sometimes 6. For this weapon, I am going to recommend using the flash pistol card with it. Cyborg, who's a regular on my stream, had me use the flash pistol only for a game, and it was actually really strong. So since you have the lowest amount of rounds to fire with the EL-16HFE before the cooling point, you can pull out the flash pistol and still engage, and then switch back to the EL-16HFE after 3 seconds and repeat the process. The flash pistol is really strong up close, so if you start getting into a close range fight, you can use it like a secondary weapon in any other first-person shooter, and it does not have a cooldown like any other cards or abilities, so you can switch freely between your primary and secondary weapon. I will be doing a video solely on the flash pistol, but I just wanted to say it is definitely worth using with this weapon and honestly with the A280. So at this time, I do have all the weapons planned out and dated, and I really appreciate those of you who requested some specific weapons. If you want to know the date for each weapon, let me know and I'll be more than happy to tell you. So in the comments section down below, let's talk about your favorite Star Wars movie. For me, the more I watch it, it, I really start to love The Force Awakens. I know it's a rehash of the original trilogy, but the movie is fun, fast-paced in comparison to the original trilogy. Let's not lie, A New Hope is a little slow, and the fan service moments hit you in the feels. And I really like BB-8. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. I love having you guys here. It does help a lot with the search results, and it lets me know if it's something that you're interested in. If you're on the PlayStation, come join my PlayStation community, RedWolf72ps4, where we can talk and party up for a few matches. You can also find me on Twitter, @RedWolf72ps4. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you in game.